Hello, welcome back to Creative's Chat. This is part two of our special highlight reel where we're reflecting back on some of the greatest moments of Creative's Chat, mostly behind the scenes footage that you haven't seen yet. And coming up soon, we're going to make a slight shift in our format. So, Peter, why don't you inform us what we're doing?
Ooh, Rusty. I'm happy to announce that we have a new segment coming to Creative's Chat. We're still going to be keeping up with our guest, but every day of the work week, we're going to be releasing some conscious chit chats between myself and Rusty. We've heard your ask from the fans, we've heard some of your questions, and we hear the call. We're going to be bringing you some more of the awesome content that we provide on a daily dose.
All right, that's coming up, Conscious Chit Chat. Be sure to subscribe. So join us as we continue Creative's Chat Highlight Reel Part 2. Roll the intro.
Streaming from Retro Earth Studio and brought to you by
wearehistorically.com. Conscious Human Apparel.
Raise your vibration and energize your life with specialized Fibonacci tuning forks that deepen meditations and empower self-healing. Get your vibrational sound tools for personal enhancement at energybodytuners.com.
Join us as we chat about who knows what.
And then real quick, just before we move on, I just want to say, Victor, if you can, you want to just like turn your phone to landscape?
Yeah, that's way better, man. Always landscaped.
You go.
There we go.
Landscape. There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Ooh,
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah, what was that you said?
He's angling it like a dad photo with half of your face and then the rest is just like.
I love it. That's the fascinating thing though right there is you come into this experience with this infinite connection and tapped in source of information, yet the whole game of this experience is love. And if you shift that that window of awareness of affection towards something that's false, that's temporary, we become identified, attached. And just to see the evolution that everyone's going through and the process of life that is this unfoldment, like it comes to that statement where it's like you have to want to really discover who you are first. You have to really question who you are to really be yourself. And I think that's one of those things that we just get so lost in the sauce in this society because of our just shitty cultures that are all about consuming versus creating culture, that we're finally at this precipice where there's more people that are really passionate about truth and discovering who they are and what that really even means, and exploring consciousness and entertaining all these things that, like, I feel like we're in the midst of the revival of spirit in union with like matter, and we're like seeing these types of conversations go down and being a part of them is always super special, because it's just like, yeah, like the light warriors, the light workers, like we all awakened, we're up, we're doing stuff, and I'm just so excited to see how this stuff unfolds. Yeah.
And also the beautiful thing is once you start working on yourself, it's you're already helping the universe by helping yourself, so you're already you're already doing a big part of your work by just doing what you're doing.
It's the only thing that matters, truthfully. It doesn't matter what else we do in life until we really search out, like, well, who are we? And when you find that you're this, infinite creator that's just one of everything and admits the whole, and it's just all radiating from you and through you at all times, it's like you can't not see that shit anymore.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
and that's the cool thing, is that it's what Rusty was saying, is you seeing the truthful, the sincere genuineness of you guys' group. It's like, yeah, these are people who've really tapped in, because that shit, when you really learn the lesson, drops like instantly, because you're like, oh wow, it's so much more effort doing that shit.
It is so much effort. It's like that's why people rather not wear pants than have to put on a pantsuit to go to work, right? Like it's so much easier to just be.
Right. And then, but that's the thing, is like we're always we get so cultured and conditioned to do and to go outside of ourselves, yet like life, it's like what you guys were saying about like in healing yourself first and healing others. It's like, in truth, like it's that toroidal field aspect. It's like when we go within ourselves, then we radiate even like more energy. We can generate even more energy. We can cultivate the most energy we've ever could even conceive of, and it just grows and grows and grows the more we, I'm going to bring it back to what you said earlier.
And your
Eddie, that
vibration goes up
distillation.
more.
Yeah. And then you just transcend shit. And then it's just like, oh, wow, I don't deal with that stuff anymore. Really, that's all it took was just acceptance and surrender and just being myself. Oh, imagine schools, yo. I just think of like this type of stuff. Yeah, Victor, all you go.
That needs to be on a shirt. Transcend shit. And then, that's all I need a shirt.
And once you connect to the entire nature and the universe as a whole, then you're really there. You're there, and then when you're there and you experience that's moment in that time and environment, it is real to your perspective because you experience it, and your experience is your reality. So that's just the beauty of these things. And if people always deny, like, you trip it, you don't see this or you don't see that's if I have seen something and that's my reality, then that is my reality. That's literally about anything in life. Like people denying other people's perspectives is not a way of doing things, because then you're denying an extra viewpoint that could be extra value in such a way. And every reality is their own, so everybody has their own experience, so everybody can be truthful in what they experience. And if other people doubt that, then the other people already have problems inside themselves to doubt the existence of his own reality in that way.
I believe that doubt stems from self-worth, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of a root cause of most of our issues, is that we don't put value in ourselves. We put value in other people, other things, not our own experience. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the potential and power that, I've seen more and more people awakening to. And that's the real opportunity that we all have as like a society, is that, there's infinite power that we each can tap into, that we each are. And we're getting closer and closer to the precipice of, I feel like, more and more people waking up to that. So yeah, the show's a really organic show. It's just pure conversation, like whatever comes up. No need to feel like you can't interrupt or just cut in or just, go off on tangents. It's like we're just kicking it in the back porch, summertime, chilling.
Nice.
So it's the casual vibes. Before we start, we usually like just run a little energy, just take a deep breath.
I get a little stretch in.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of loosen up and then really just exhale and just release all the tension. So how is the sound of you guys even now, like, developed in some of these new things that you're working on? Have you seen any type of like real change since like Don't Acting Strange wrapped up? Start Acting Strange. Sorry, tongue tied.
I could see how that happens. Yeah. Don't.
I was thinking of Don't.
Yeah, exactly. I was living in Bellingham with a buddy of mine from community college, and I responded to a Craigslist ad that I think Evan put out. And we met up just to do a little jam session. And I think it was like you, me, and Jason, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, were you there, Tristen?
I had to go to work. I met you when you got there, I think, and then I had to leave.
Because you guys were recording that first album, which your dad had already recorded on.
Yeah.
And then the second time we met, we were playing that the open jam, whatever that was called, which is where I met Ariel for the first time.
Well, we met at practice before the jam. But
but that was the same day.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is Ariel. He's also going to be playing with us. Hey, let's go. And
Rusty, your mic's not muted, bud. Bless you.
Bless you.
Just like, oh shit.
Sorry.
I think that's just a thing, even just like the human experience, like the subtleties of life are the most overlooked, but they're the dopest things. Like just being able to capture that timelessness when you're just in the moment, you're in the zone, you're on stage, you're in the flow. And then all of a sudden it's over and you're just like, oh shit. Like I was just almost watching myself perform, just flowing in the now, like wasn't even thinking, just like pure energy.
Yeah, that's very well put.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm curious is like, how does it, because I always love kind of, this whole, let's talk consciousness real quick in terms of just your experience when you're on stage. Like, how would you describe like the elation or just the flow? Who's tripped the most here? No.
That's a good question.
I don't know how to like put it into the big words you're using, but like for me when I'm on stage, like I love it, and it is like kind of like autopilot, and I'm like, it's so autopilot that I'm like singing these things or rapping these things really fast while I'm also thinking about like, I wonder like if that one thing, like I'll just like notice something on stage and like, oh, this person's doing this one thing, and I'll still be like rapping these things, but then I'm like just thinking about other stuff somehow at the same time. But I recognize that it feels good, and like I just feel it's a lot of flow is a really good word for it. Flow, like you definitely get into the flow, and I feel like that takes about the first song for me to get there. The first song's probably the roughest for me, and then from there on it's just like straight flow throughout the whole set.
That's dope. Yeah.
This is like the one thing, performing is like the one thing that also gives me energy. And it's just like I have like a little capsule that's like my little extrovert capsule. It's strictly for performing. It just fills it up, and I can just live off of that for like a week, and it's nice.
I love
it's like just like the extra boost in addition to my introvert meter.
I love that. I've never heard it expressed like that. I love it. And it makes total sense though, where it's just like intellectually you can charge yourself. You can do your own things to decompress and relax. But it's just like I feel that with the peopling though, man. But that's the difference when you're in that playful state of just expression and really enjoying the play of life that is, music. When you're really just vibing on stage and people are vibing with you. And I think that's the kind of realm where we cross over. And actually we'll bring it full circle back to the Indoor Sun Shop over at for the LP release. Is that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do some meditation before, because it was like before we did the listening party, it was just like, all right, let's have everyone ground, just mellow out, relax, regardless, even if you're not into this whole spiritual introspective search, you could at least just kind of vibe and chill out and have a moment just to really be quiet, so that the moment you hear those first sounds, it's like, ooh, what was that? Like, ooh, tasty, So it's cool to see everyone's different experiences of like the post-show aspect, and even just in the flow.
There is a Spotify playlist that's like music from the members of Annihilate. That's
cool.
A really easy way to just go and hit shuffle or whatever, and you'll hear a bunch of stuff that we've worked on. But yeah, go dig around. You'll see what other stuff we're up to.
I love it. And with that, I'm gonna have you guys hold on tight for the after show. Puppers did such a good job. Waited until the end to come through, really, for the most part.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
like literally.
I don't know either.
Are we talking over the outro right now?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Hit the Om one.
Ooh, yeah. I fuck with that. Let's do that. Maybe we could do a little like. No.
Yeah.
Is that too loud? Or maybe we should.
No, it's not that loud at all.
Which one sounds nicer?
And welcome back, everybody, to Creatives Chat. We're going to pick up where we left off with our conversation between Peter and David Hulse. Tune in.
I guess I would say almost even like words of encouragement, or just your own understanding of it, is the first steps to overcoming fear, or transmuting fear into love, rather. What would you say is probably that first step for most?
Well, I try to come from some of the philosophy of A Course in Miracles. If you're familiar with it, it says that two opposite realities cannot exist. One is real and one is not. So we choose that love is real, and the absence of that real is what we call fear. Yeah. It's the same way if you think of night. People think night's not real. Night is just an absence of the sun hitting this side of the earth. There is no night. There's just a vacancy. So night is not real, but light is real. So you have to realize that fear is a person's perception of the absence of love in their life.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then I guess you've heard this acronym, fear is false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
And those things do speak to us. I know they're overused sometimes, but we have to realize what we're making real outside of ourselves is with our power. There's nothing real outside of our power. And I use this scripture in Psalms 115 that says, and they made images that had eyes that could not see, ears that could not hear, feet that could not walk, mouth that could not talk, but they became like them.
Ooh.
So these psychological images and idols of belief that are not aligned with truth become real out here because we give it our power to make it real.
Yeah, gods and goddesses of manifestation and creation. Be careful what you invest yourself into.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah.
Oh my gosh! And I just realized we never talked about it in the beginning. Do you guys have a hard out?
Have what?
Time, you have a hard out time. You guys gotta wind out.
I do have an appointment in about 30 minutes here. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think what we'll do first here is we'll get some closes real quick, just so we have, you know, because this is going to be enough for 2 shows. Am I correct, Rusty, with that?
Yeah, we definitely have enough for 2 shows.
Okay, so I'll do one close real quick, and then we'll do an after show.
Okay.
And then we'll just chat, because there's some stuff I want to talk about, potentially green room conversation.
Okay.
But yeah, I just got to say, and with that, David, thank you so much for coming on Creatives Chat. I just have one last thing I need to ask you. What's some words of wisdom for the listeners out there?
Well, I think it's back to the word trust. Trust the process. Trust the process. We're Western. We're been under decades and years of masculine male left brain dominance for so long that and I teach that the masculine is product, feminine is process. Think about that. So we're people that we want it fast, we want it quick, we want magic, we want this to happen. And I think that more that the goddess feminine energy of the soul is coming in, the more people has gone to workshops to learn process. See, back in the religion I have, all I just pray in Jesus' name is going to happen. That's what they told us. Anything we pray in Jesus' name is going to happen. So I was looking for miracles and magic things to happen, and I never learned process. And that's the thing about that's missing in Jesus's life is that 18 years in the Bible that he went out and learned process, and went to Kashmir and India and learned how to do alchemy and change water into. He was a quantum man. He understood there was mostly empty space and matter wasn't real, and he learned the illusion. He wasn't so supernatural. He was just very informed and wisdom of the ages, and he wants us to be. So I would say to people, ask your higher self, whatever higher power that you are connected to lead you and guide you into whatever it is that can raise your vibratory frequency and consciousness out of the depths of this deep human hypnotic dream that we've all been a part of, and immerse and awake out of it as an awakened light being. And not for just yourself, but do it for the planet, because the planet is hurting and she is calling her children to show up at this time.
Powerful. I couldn't have said anything close to that, but I love every ounce of it. It just resonates. I mean, it's chills. And with that,
you inspire me, Peter. I'm inspired today.
Oh,
you make it easy.
Oh, and with that, thanks for tapping in.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I mean, and then we'll probably do one more real quick just for the after show. And again, thank you.
Wait. Because in the previous closing, you forgot to tell people to stick around for the after show. So this one would be the regular closing right now.
Okay, cool. So I just got to say, David, again, thank you so much for coming on Creatives Chat. I'm going to have you stick around for the after show. And for those watching, thanks for tuning in.
And in case you didn't know, this is a chatterbox above our head. That's our icon, chatterboxes.
Oh, yes. Yes. He studied to be a psychotherapist at NYU, has worked in a wide variety of therapeutic settings. His search for understanding eventually led him to the dream of building a spiritual academy, which combines the teachings of Buddha with the teachings of sacred plants. We have Mr. Alexi Soma.
Yes. Oh, sorry, you're asking about his question?
Yeah. Well, and that's the cool thing about life is when you enter a new realm of understanding and you kind of have another like door that opens up, obviously there's like an infinite amount of more doors that are there out on the other side of questions and avenues to kind of explore, but it always allows us the opportunity to self-reflect and it just changes the entire perspective of what we've experienced thus far. So it's like, you know, in this process of, you know, change is the only thing that's constant. I can't remember who said that, but it's like you're always able to learn from the past through this new realm of understanding of the present. And that's just the beauty of it. Yeah.
You're totally right.
Infinite well. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been writing songs after ceremonies. That's a way that I kind of integrated for myself. I'll have a certain experience and I'll write a song narrating the experience. And I've been doing it for a couple of years now. I have a bunch of songs written, and probably when I put the YouTube channel together, I'll also be sharing those. But, you know, one kind of bridge of a song, the words are, "Then we came down from the mountain, that sweet well remains a fountain still, and everyone can get their fill." Yes, bars. Anyone can get their fill.
Bars. I love that. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. I love that. And I think
a wild thing, right? It's all still there for us.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's like that's been a big part of the teaching for me, that actually the first time that I drank ayahuasca, it was like, humanity is good. Y'all gotta stop hating on yourselves, basically. Because that's a big source of the problem, right? That we kind of, that sweet well remains a fountain still. That's all I gotta say about that.
That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful aspect of it. And I mean, it comes back to that point where it's like real recognizes real. The moment those types of words are really spoken from that place of the heart, they resonate deeply. They resonate on such a deeper level. And that's what I feel like, honestly, like that's the culture that's awakening. It's just, there's so many more people that just, they still lack that 1 ounce or drop of just courage or just validation to really act on it. But that's what I've seen more and more, is that there are current light workers, healers, however people want to call it, you know, shamans. I consider myself more of like, I kind of have like that shamanistic background from my heritage, and like knowingly, and certain experiences I've had that we are the ones that are kind of here to utilize this opportunistic time of transition. Because it's just, as you said, it can go either way at this point, as I still see it. But where the momentum's carrying most, I feel like
we're a good story,
right? You can't have a good movie without some of that. Like,
you gotta have some risk.
But that's what we're tapping into, is that just infinite potential of the now, where so many more people are. I feel like these types of community-driven, consciousness-led, heart-focused, really manifestations are starting to come to fruition more and more, and the networks are beginning to form. And oh boy, do I have a conversation for you in the green room.
So under your video is going to be your name, and then in the first 15 minutes it'll be your title. I was thinking writer, artist, or you want poet, artist, or what would you content? I mean, like what would you call yourself as far as?
I mean, if it would be possible, because I mean, I do identify as like a conscious creator, but I mean,
I like that.
I guess we could probably go. Yeah, let's go with that. You know, that's two of them. So yeah.
This whole show has just been bars on all fronts for everybody. So it's just like, I think that's just the beauty of it, though, is, you know, when people, I picked up on it a while ago in a few different experiences, but when you have people who are actually like tapped in and they come from a space of love, it just uplifts everything. And it just and it's so much easier to do it than through like any egoic expression at all, because there's no one stepping on anyone's toes. There's no like animosity. There's no negativity. There's no judgment. It's just respecting. It's the truest term of Lila of Namaste. It's like you're bound to the divine with each being. Like it's respecting the divine in each aspect of what we all are. And when we do that, then it's,
there's no greater than, there's no less than.
It's just, we all just rise, you know?
Right.
And that's the real power, you know. That's why I'm excited, man. Like for future connections, for future collaborations, for future events. It's just like, dude, like this is the type of network that people have always been yearning for, that a lot of us have been yearning for a long time. And it's like, yeah, then let's just make it.
No, honestly, yeah, I'm excited, man, because after seeing community through unity, and really shout out to, you know, you guys for literally curating that and just bringing, you know, continuing to bring that to life and allowing others like myself to even, you know, add anything that we have, add our life into it to, you know, keep rolling, because things like this are, I mean, truly are just, they're very, very, very needed, obviously, as you know, because that's, you know, why you guys curate it. But it's like, yeah, these kind of things I feel like are like, maybe we don't see it now or maybe we do, but it's like literally it's us meeting up in a park as like-minded individuals to meditate and just be happy and merry and just rejoice and kind of break bread in that way that is low-key very similar to any of the kind of biblical teachings as far as what they were doing in that way years ago or whatever. But ultimately it's like it's moments like that are literally like, we don't see it, but I'm telling you, there's a kid out in Singapore right now that is just being touched by that positive vibration from what we did, you know, for something. I don't know, it's that butterfly effect, but I definitely believe that, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm excited, man, just for the future of just, you know, not even just excited for the future, but excited to continuously create the future and, you know, do that consciously and you know, with intention, you know what I'm saying? So definitely super, super excited, man.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I mean, it's been an honor. I think that's one of the things where it's real recognizes real. Got to always put it out there where it's just like, it's something when someone resonates on a deeper level of the heart, you're just like, ooh, oh, like how many times like throughout, I just would love to see it like the 2-year anniversary of Creative Chat, just like a highlight reel of just reactions of people just be like, yes, like, oh, like it just looks so ridiculous.
No, that's honestly, you know,
because you know, when you speak life into people, when you speak from your truth versus saying negative egoic stuff that just like deflates people, and I think that's such a subtle but powerful thing.
Just adding to what you were saying, you know, it's definitely, I feel like, you know, I feel like people can feel what's not real, even if they don't maybe know how to articulate it or address it. But, you know, I truly believe the heart space will feel, the heart space knows, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like you said, real recognize real. I mean, I think this very, you know, heart space moment with all three of us. But I think even with people who outside of this, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you know, and what's understood doesn't need to be explained. I feel like for us, you know, we're all kind of tapped in. But yeah, no, definitely, man. It's this whole meeting, like I can't tell you what it means, but it's definitely somewhere I'm glad, I'm just glad the journey never stopped. You know what I'm saying? It was a blessing to have met you last week, and it kind of, you know, resonate with the poetry and the spoken word aspect. Peter, it's a blessing to have met you and through spiritual lives, and then meet you in real life, you know what I mean? And then, you know, it truly, like, I don't have the words for it, which is funny being a poet, but I'm very grateful just for, you know, us to our paths to, you know, cross and everything that's going to come out of that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just very, very grateful. Like this has been amazing. You know what I'm saying? Normally I don't always get to have these kind of conversations where I get to truly exist authentically in them. But, you know, as I felt, you know, being able to just unapologetically be around other like-minded individuals who are also on that same path, it truly is something special, you know? So I just really want to just acknowledge it and just thank you guys. Like it, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know I was going to meet you. Like, Rusty, I met you a week ago. I feel like I love you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's all love always. Same thing with you. You know what I mean? So it's just
feelings mutual.
Yeah. You know, truly, I appreciate you guys a ton. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to see what positive work this is about to do for the collective. And this is huge. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely the 111 birth of something. You know, I feel that. So, man.
I'm thinking that I got to do something special, that I got to be something special or someone special or offer something special. But as I grew, let's say, wiser, as I became more enlightened, I realized that my specialness is my ordinariness. To me, it's ordinary what I do. But to somebody else, who may not be able to have what I do naturally, it's extraordinary. Take KingDow as an example. Use KingDow. I see him play bass and I go, oh my gosh, I want to learn how to play bass. You know, and you're just plucking away and you make it look effortless. And you're just, you know, you're having fun. And I'm digging off that energy and I'm feeding off the energy. And I'm going, you know how many hours he put into that? And then I'm kind of going, well, I don't know if I have the time. Well, that then starts to diminish. Well, if then I don't have the time, then I'm not really in love with the idea. right? And so what happens is that turn off. What happens is we discount our self.
Yeah.
You know, like I look at you and you, like I said, you make it look easy when you're performing, but there's no way in heck you're going to ever see me be able to replicate you or, you know, there's no way I can copy you. But what you do is ordinary to you, but it's extraordinary to me. Right. And so I was looking for the extraordinary and not focusing on just perfecting me and what I do. If I just be, that's what we say, do you. I know what that means now. When you say be the best you, like you don't need anything out there to help you improve who you are. Like you can learn stuff, you can get knowledge, you can learn skills, yes. But the inherent ability to do something is already in you. You already know what it is. You already know what you love.
Yeah.
It's deep. It's true. It's true. And like you're saying earlier, looking for the extra, like, oh, once we get X, Y, and Z, like until people get out of that loop, they will always be chasing that external until they realize, like, it's funny, like we didn't have to run the race. We already ran it. What we are chasing is freedom, period. Like that's the whole goal. And that's when, once you've reached that freedom, whatever it is for you, you beat in the game 1,000%.
And that freedom is love. Whatever you love, it gives you that freedom. Whatever allows you to tap into that flow and time skip and literally lose reality, like lose time, you know, get lost in time. That's one of those things that it's like, yeah, you love that. You are completely enamored in it. You're completely playing. You're enjoying life to its fullest by just like, oh.
Thank you guys. That was really fun. That was wow.
Flew by.
I learned a lot. It flew by. Time skip.
I wasn't expecting on commenting, and so what came out of me was unexpected.
Yeah, man, some fire. That's what.
Yeah.
Bars.
But the whole King, seriously, man, everything that came out of your mouth was gold.
Thank you.
Gold, baby, gold. Well, there was I think a science experiment or something, or our teacher stood up and said, okay, how much does this glass of water weigh? And, you know, there are all these sorts of answers. And they go, how much does it weigh if you keep holding it for 20 straight hours?
Yeah.
It only gets heavier the longer you hold on to it. And so I get that what Alexis is up to is shifting people's energy, moving them through it, getting them to where they want to go. And I like the unleash the beast part. But the thing is, we think of a beast as a big, scary animal. But the fact of the matter is a beast is just a very powerful animal. And we can label it as scary and mean and ugly if we want to. But you look at a bear is a beast. But it can be a gentle bear. It doesn't have to be angry, ravishing, gonna kill you bear, but that's how we treat the beast. That's how I was afraid of myself. I used to say I got a monkey on my back and I'm training it, you know, but the fact of the matter is the monkey was training me how to behave, you know. And so what we have to do when we say that we're going to unleash the beast is we're going to own our own power.
Yeah,
we're the beast. We can be mean and nasty, or we can be just powerful. We don't have to be, you know, power isn't equipped, you know, synonymous with mean, or, you know what I mean? Power is just power. How we wield our power. That's what we're getting to. When we're in our core and we're operating from our heart space, that power just magnifies into whatever we project.
Yeah.
So it's just doing more of what you love every day and making the conscious choice to make time to do that. Because using the excuse that there's no time is literally just saying to everyone, to yourself, to the universe, that I'm not putting myself first. And that's a lack of self-worth.
I got a comment, because that's really easier said than done. And there's and just that one simple statement, all the work that went behind it to get to where you're at, right? That it might turn some people off. That, oh my gosh, there's all this work involved. Here's
the truth. There's short-term sacrifices for long-term goals, or just long-term suffering with, itty-bitty goals. Okay, so if you don't know what it is that you love, I can certainly assume that you know what you don't love. And so start with that.
Right.
Remove what you don't like. Life is a process of elimination. So if you don't know what you want, remove what you don't want. Stop doing what doesn't make you happy. And then that opens up the space for what can make you happy.
That is absolutely amazing. And that's really, really strong with relationships. In attracting relationships and what you want, that is the best way to start. If you don't know what love is like and you don't know what it feels like to feel loved or valued or respected, well, what does it feel like to be disrespected? And do you like that? Not what's familiar and what feels comfortable, but do you like that? Does that feel good? Because I grew up with abuse, right? That was my norm. And I don't it was very hard for me to realize that that's not normal and that's not okay. But learning that I didn't like it. So, okay, if I don't like that, then what could I like instead? Well, not that. Yeah. And that goes what Rusty, what you said is absolute gold, because it goes with everything. It's making that first list of here's all the shit that I don't like to do and I don't want to do ever again.
But you just said, I love to eat. I love going out to eat. But what if you went to a restaurant and you hated every day? Would you still enjoy eating?
True. Absolutely right.
Right? Then you'd get to a point, well, what's the point of going out where I'm not going to, then it gets to this vicious cycle versus a virtual cycle, right?
And once we see this mastery and how we live so many lives and so many different things, there's going to be some baggage. We're not where we are because we don't have all this baggage. We're going to need to transmute that baggage. We can't keep unpacking it and putting it back on. We can't keep putting those old outfits on. And we do it in our own lives, but we do it with those past lives as well. They're there for a reason. They're behind us.
Well, I kind of think that sometimes we do things backwards, where we think that if we go back into the past, we can heal the present.
Oh, yeah.
But what I was going with this is that if something we're doing in the present is causing anxiety and we think it might have to do something with the past, just keep working on the present and it will heal the past automatically. It's quantum healing.
Right.
And so we don't have to go into the past in order to heal it. We can work on it in the present. And that's where we get stuck, is that we think we have to keep taking trips into the past.
The truth, the truthiest truth. I love that recipe. Oh, that's the real deal.
Yeah, we're here in this present to heal the past.
Oh, and not to go back to do it. Oh, but it's such a, that's just, oh, it's it. That is, that is it.
And it's even wilder too when you think about the sense of the wildfire aspect of just healing, where it's, one person changing their resonance and vibration and healing from some trauma or past pain it'll completely transform the opportunities that you experience those same people. You give them the chance to see someone who's really changed through their own grace, who's really taken that inner looking and taken to the next level. And, it brings me a lot of hope in these conversations, just to see how many more people are seeing the same waves and kind of patterns lining up, where it's like, we're in a cycle where, if anything's the truest testament, the fall will represent the fall of just, a lot more than, leaves. And that's kind of what, I'm seeing for a lot of people and things going on right now, where it's just, there's so much tension that's just been waiting to release. And all the light workers and healers are all like, all right, now here, we're the funnel. So let's direct all that in a positive way so we don't all die.
Yeah, because right now it's like we're here just to really, now that we know what's gonna, that release is there. That's why they're saying hold on, hold those timelines, hold the highest the highest timeline for us, the most beautiful transition that we can possibly have, so that we can kind of balance that release, because that's really what we're here to do, is just like transmute it as it comes through. Man, shungite, that I keep that Russian mineral is just shows you what, like if you look at the mineral shungite under a microscope and you put a piece of like a pesticide near it, it will actually pull the pesticide into it and transmute it so that chemical is no longer in there. I mean, that's something that scientifically they see. But shungite, even when I wear it next to my copper, will start pulling the copper into it. Same with silver or anything else. So shungite's been teaching me that we are going to be able to literally do that with our bodies. Transmute what's in front of us and turn it into light, no matter what it is. Like we can actually become, oh no, the battery's about to die.
It sounds like a Mack truck coming down a highway.
That vroom, vroom.
So with that, typically we just hit the ground running. Peter will start asking questions. Feel free to, it's very casual. Interrupt if you feel like there's something compelling to say. You know, if we take tangents, it's nothing linear about our conversations at all. We just hop and skip. So with that, I'm just going to bow out. Have a great show. It's nice seeing you again, Ty.
Cool. Yeah, you too, Rusty. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. See you on the flip side.
And a lot of life is just so suggestive that people, you know, and then you got the cliche, like people herded like sheep, you know, but like that's really happening to people's death. Like genocide is being suggested, just nudged along. And if you're just doing what feels comfortable to do next because other people are comfortably doing what other people are doing comfortably next, you're going to just be there's no reward other than your demise. Like the only thing at the end of that is a cliff. Like, so just really be suspicious and concerned with what feels right based on the mass population's acceptance of it. That should feel wrong. If it feels good to a lot of people, like eating a cheeseburger at McDonald's, billions of cheeseburgers, like now we really need to recognize that that's actually like backwards. So just be cool with having a perspective that is not being applauded or agreed with, or it wasn't provided to you. You found it on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think we're in a really great time to where we have the, you know, this matrix to where we can have our, you know, really kind of extraordinary thoughts and ideas and questions and feelings kind of reaffirmed by individuals in different places around the world, or groups of people, or, you know, to where information is being surfaced so you can see that, you know, you're not alone with how you feel about things. But then that has kind of double-edged sword too, because we live in the age of information, but we live in the age of information. Like, it's just so much, like, and a lot of it's just like hella irrelevant, has nothing to do with you. So like there's got to be a balance of like turning it off and just like centering and grounding within yourself. Like there's so much information that's already exuding within and without us that you don't really have to like go and be constantly seeking, scrolling and seeking all this stuff that's outside of you for it to find your strength, because a lot of that information that you really need is already lies within you. So that's
facts. That's dope, man. Well, you know, other than that, you're clearly, you know, someone who's well on the path of self-mastery. And, you know, again, I just wanted to thank you for coming on Creatives Chat. And then, hey, why not? Let another little negative wisdom for the listeners. What you got? Like,
negative what? Oh, a little nugget.
Yeah, a little nugget of wisdom.
What's up? What's up? What's up? You know, I think I'm without pushing it or stressing it. Nothing comes to mind, man.
You know, in terms of the musicians, in terms of the different creators and content creators we have, it's like it's that type of just general natural conversation that gets people to really see like that's why I fuck with that person so heavy. I knew why, but now I know why. You know what I mean? Like I knew I liked their stuff, but this is like this hits different. Like oh yeah, man.
Exactly. Because online you can only do so much and give out so much information about yourself, and you know, just having these conversations is different. It's like a fireside chat. You just sitting there, just chilling, just relaxing, and just talking.
And in the first part, you turn and ask Peter a question, and that's when I knew you got it. Like, it's not an interview; it's a chat.
Right.
You know, and the fact that you asked him a question, I went, "Yeah, now we got ourselves a real chat," because now we're playing volleyball. You know, Peter's not doing the serving all the time, and you're, you know, he's not pitching, you're batting. You guys are playing a game back and forth. Yeah. And so it starts off interview process. There's a getting to know you process, right? And then after we get through that, from the 30-40 minute mark, then it starts to get down into the nitty gritty.
It just goes downhill in the good way. No resistance, just
Gets
effortless. Yeah. But I mean, that's all stuff that's like incredibly important. And I think one of the things too is always being able to highlight people just in a path in their experience where it's just like they're at a point of recognition and humility where it's just like, yeah, shit was tough.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like every person we have has always been like, let's dive deep into some real shit. Like it's these types of interactions that also give me hope in the network that we're building too. Because it's like, man, like at one point I want to do like a creatives chat, like epic like call, like where everyone just hops in eventually and just like connect all the different networks and people that we have. Because from musicians to just like photographers, videographers, from like people like yourself in terms of just like self-empowerment, self-help, growth, you know, there's so many people that I feel like would just resonate on a deeper level, and we're all spread out.
Right.
Thank you for being generous with your time. It was a pleasure meeting you. I know we rarely got to talk, but I'm sure as we go forward, our paths will cross again. I look forward to watching your development and seeing how 2022 turns up for you.
Thank you.
Or how you turn up for 2022.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was like, dang, it's just almost like you're at the gates ready to just like jump out the blocks. It's right there, just like.
It's like the bowl gate. Like I've been ready to go. I've been this whole year for a while. I'm just like, please. Something, please. I'm here. So
yeah,
whatever.
Put me in, coach.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you must run into some pretty, like, every now and then some like existential stuff might come up with some people being like, wait, what? I can do that? I didn't know I could do that. Like,
there can definitely be like the light bulb or breakthrough moments at times. But the thing that's great is like, again, I try to facilitate the moment for something to happen. But if there's a breakthrough, it's because somebody uncovered it for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't tell them like, hey, you should think about this in your life or da 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 da. It's when we get to the group sharing portion of these segments, they're like, I just uncovered this thing and like this makes so much sense. And again, it's just the opportunity to reflect that somebody hasn't been given. And when they're given, it's like, you already have all the wisdom you need, actually. You already know a lot more answers than you think, but we have to build the muscle of trusting that. And that's the part that I hope to come in with.
Yeah, I love
Very
it.
powerful muscle, the authentic muscle.
Authentic muscle. I love that.
I started off as a writer, and I became a screenwriter in 2008 and wrote some full-length screenplays, and then got to the point where I didn't really want to sell them because I wanted to produce them. If I sold them, then someone's going to make them into their own version, right? And so then I started getting into filmmaking. I've always been a photographer, not much of a really cinematographer. Videographer, yes, but cinematography, completely different beast. And so I started taking classes. I started getting into that just so that I could produce my own screenplays, right? But what I've learned is that because there's so much energy that like when we go watch a movie and it moves us or inspires us, or we get engaged with the character, it's not really because they were acting. It's it's because they were being authentically that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so my conundrum is sometimes when, because I've made maybe a dozen short films, is that when I'm directing and I'm trying to give a actor a direction, they believe like they have to put on this different persona. And I'm like going, no. I just want you to be yourself and act as if this situation was actually occurring. Don't pretend to be somebody else having a completely different, then you're not experiencing the experience. Does that make sense? Like, So when I watch great actors put on a character, they're being that character. They're not pretending to be that character. They're acting as if they are that character experiencing those experiences. That's the authenticity, is that they're actually experiencing those emotions and those situations in that moment. In their head, in their mind, they've created it that there is no pretense. They're actually feeling these emotions and they're acting as if they are this person. See, that's the distinction between acting as if and faking it till you make it. We can recognize fakers. We're watching a B movie where this person's pretending like they're an actor or an actress. They're not, they're not really giving themselves to the process of being that person or being that character or being in that situation. They're not really feeling the feelings. They're pretending as if they're feeling, and we can tell, we know when someone's pretending.
Do you have any words of wisdom for our listeners?
Words of wisdom. Oh man. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Ooh,
it's hard. It's kind of hard in this day and age to find spare time to your entertainment time is valuable, I think, and choosing what you spend your free time to do is a whole thing. But try a comic book, try some manga, give something new a try. I don't think a lot of people. I think more people need to dabble in this world in general. So that is my word of wisdom.
I love it.
Google it. Find a comic you want to read. Or ask me on Instagram at FireGuyRyan.
Yeah. That's super funny. Well, that's just the vibe. And what I guess the energies that are coming through that I'm more and more encouraged by is that people are coming back into this sense of the ethereal nature of existence, that people's abilities are kind of tapping in even more. And honestly, like I feel these past few months specifically, like there's been some type of activation where everything is just kind of, again, we're entering time getting compressed. I feel like especially these past 2-3 years, time has just been going through these wild periods where it's mostly condensed versus relaxed, but there's just so much that happens in such little time. And then you're like, oh my gosh, it's already a month. Wait, it feels like it's been a year. What's going on? I'm just leveling up, and so many opportunities for people to really tap into their true power. It's right now, explore, just do something a little bit each day and just tap into what makes your heart smile.
No, that's it, man. If we all just took 10-20 minutes out of every day to just do something that makes us feel amazing, I wonder where we would all be,
10 to 15 minutes. I mean, even exercise, meditation, all these different things. It's just an opportunity to disconnect and disengage from the rat race that gets you caught up in those egoic cycles, I feel. Bring you back to your center.
There was something before this current iteration of society. People were living, people were thriving, people were sharing. There's going to be something after this too, and so our beingness, our worth doesn't have to be wrapped up in what's happening all around us.
I love that. We're so reliant upon society, others' expectations and assumptions, all these other projections and conditionings. But until we come to that point of really saying, I'm just going to own and do me, you don't get to come into this path. And that's something that is actually really scary. I sympathize with people who kind of fear the standing out, because it comes from a place of really just lacking of love in yourself, low self-worth to stand out. So it's I always give credence and again appreciation and kudos to those on this path, because this shit's for the warriors and the badass angels. It's not for the faint of heart. And I always, again, just even for the listeners, this is in the final cut, if you're on that path of inner looking and and you're feeling like you're alone and you're crazy, just realize like you are already a chosen one. Like you are already like the cream of the crop, just even in this journey right now.
Right.
You're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Like there's 8 billion people on this planet. I guarantee you there is no more than 1 billion people on this search.
Right.
I guarantee you there's only a few million that are honest, that are like genuinely on this search.
Yeah. And when you think about all of the things that had to happen to get to where you are, like, how can it not be divine? Like, are you kidding me? Like, if your parents wouldn't have met, you wouldn't be here. You'd be in a different soul body, you know? Like, you are you, and you is so cool. You is so special. Like, yeah, wow.
I'd like to add, and you're uniquely qualified for whatever it is you're doing.
Oh, yes, that.
Facts, though.
And so, yeah, I like being on the sidelines sometimes. It's pretty cool to be able to hear this. So I'm looking forward to seeing if we get on here. But it's a joy for me to do this.
So we'll run some energy first.
Yep.
If we can, just allow yourself to take a deep breath when you hear the tap of the bowl. Allow yourself to ground. Deep inhale, filling yourself up with as much of that love and light. Holding the breath just as long as you drew it in. Before effortlessly just releasing the breath. Again, just as long as you held it. The feeling and the flow for you.
Yeah.
How do you learn to trust yourself when you...
How do you learn to trust yourself? To follow through with the promises that you make to yourself when no one's looking is how you become.
It always happens when something gets juicy.
Sometimes I am. Did it cut out?
Yeah, like right when it started getting juicy, it was just
What was I saying? Who knows?
Rusty, you remember the exact word? It was like,
well, was still, how do you learn to trust yourself?
Yeah, how do you learn to trust yourself? And when you were like, well, when you're in.
Yeah, it cut off right as you were getting going.
And it's frozen right now, so. And see, but even then it comes full circle, because I totally resonate with that, where I remember like the whole, I mean, obviously it's the whole aspect of life living, you're in that kind of like egoic physical identification. And then there was a very big dissociated state that I went through where it was just that pure spiritual thing. And then that leveling out where it's like, oh.
From complete surrender to I have no control over anything except my actions, right?
Well, and that's the sailing of the heart. Where it's just like, well, you akin it to your windsurfing experiences. I just akin it to just like, I don't know, just like sailing down a little river, where it's just like the flow of life, that dance of in between is recognizing that there's a flow. You are the flow, you're a part of the flow, but you can also direct the flow. And it's with the love. It's with that fundamental aspect of like the awareness is a source of, or rather is a tool for focalizing attention, right? So whatever you shift that affection of attention towards, you know, you start to shift it and sail down the river. And like, I just seen it more and more automatic, I guess you would say. Is like, that's the thing about life that's always tripped me out, is like, we're creatures of habit. We always live in some type of autopilot, but when you eradicate the egoic identification and you come back to the sense of spirit knowing, and you come back to the sense of the combination, it just is this automatic flow of experiencing. I guess it's hard to put it into words, but it's just the same shit, and it's different every time, but you're not doing anything, you're just kind of hanging out. I don't know. It's hard to conceptualize at times, but it's kicking, I like to say, just kicking back, like you are posted up right now, kicking back. Literally, that's how I approach it internally. It's like kicking back in the movie theater of the mind and just watching life unfold like a movie. And like, it's funny when you talk about divine channeling, because it took I guess you would say it took a lot of this show and practicing freestyling and guided meditations to get comfortable with just allowing what needs to flow.
Yeah.
And not having the tension behind it, you know what I mean? Or like not being intrigued by it enough to be like, oh, I wonder, then get yourself all caught up.
Yeah, dude.
Right? It's fun.
Every time, I never know how it's gonna go,
And that is part of why it's so liberating.
Yeah. Yes. Flow recognizes the flow. Yes. And you can feel that. So for me, it was just like feeling the emotions. I mean, it's already been like a wild emotional week, but just feeling the energy from just like the palm tree, that hit. That
Did
like
that?
I
Okay.
hit because I know exactly that moment when life lets you say, it's okay, you're suffering. We got you. And like,
And see, what I got too out of this was I would say things and then I would pick up on the meanings that they meant now. Like, oh shit. Like, oh my God. Like, oh shit. Oh shit. You know? So I try not to drop any F-bombs. I don't think I did. But, you know, I didn't know if I could swear or not. I could have said some colorful words.
Yeah.
You could have in Espanol. We wouldn't have known.
I think, you guys, no, I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's, I think, yeah, I mean, and if you, I'm open, but like I said, I hope I covered enough. I think there was a lot of little things there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So do you go back, Rusty, and edit things out, or like Joselito picking his nose or redundant stuff, or do you just let it flow?
The first one. I go, I clean it up, I tighten it, I make sure our guests look good.
Beautiful.
I keep notes. Basically, every minute I have a note. So at the first minute, who are you and what do you do? Dancer, producer, and curandero definition. Banishment, clearing ceremony. Second minute, third minute, ranchito. 4, heart opening story. 5, witnessing magic moments. 6, caliche, and we come from the dirt.
Because we're in the flow, so like someone has to keep track. So it's like Rusty's he's got it down.
Shit.
Like, hey, we got you.
We're on our 2nd year anniversary.
Nice.
Because we know stuff comes around. So it's just like, and one of the things that this show has really been, it's been that mutual. I mean, obviously it's more of Rusty's manifestation because he's the one producing it and all that shit. But like, I would say like a few weeks before this show like really started to come up, like I had the idea that I wanted to like do a show that's really in depth about spirituality, but like I knew people wouldn't like really be like, no, it's not appetizing. So I was like, I don't know how to do it, but I want something that's like can tap in people to like a deep realm of like spiritual knowing in a very casual way. And then met Russ and he was like, I have this show.
I
was like,
that.
Let's
I
get
had
it.
this idea and you'd be perfect for it. Interested?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think 3 days later we were shooting it.
Boom. That's sick. That's that's
and now it's been 2 years.
An idea whose time has come, right? I will say I think it's kind of sick though to have the second part be kind of behind the veil, because it's like as it goes, it gets the veils, you kind of pull back, it gets a little deeper, and it makes sense to ask for listeners to be a little more invested,
It's just like you have a different layer of sunglasses that comes off and you just see the world more clearly each time. And then once it's finally off and you have no lenses of misperception and you're just fully, all the playgrounds unlocked, it's just like, oh snap, well, where do I want to go? So seek for the truth about who you are and what life is, and everything gets so much more magical and it just comes effortlessly, and it's so easy to be and to navigate the waters that life presents you.
I'm going to leave you with a little thing I wrote in 2015. I gotta love me, all of me, not bits of me. The good, the bad, the indifferent, and then love others just the same. And with that, everybody, thank you for joining us on Creatives Chat. We'll see you next episode.
Roll the outro.
Thanks again to our sponsors for making this show possible. Thank you, We Are Historically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
Level up your life and raise your vibration with specialized Fibonacci tuning forks. Get your vibrational sound tools for your personal enhancement at energybodytuners.com.
Another Creative Art production. by Retro Earth Studio.
That concludes this episode of Creatives Chat. Thank you for watching our show. Click the bell button to get notified of future episodes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know you're starting your day off right when you're watching another insightful episode of Creatives Chat. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Rusty.
And I'm Peter.
He does the hosting, I do the coasting.